Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Hope you guys are all doing well. Another match preview, such a quick turnaround. I mean, Arsenal literally only played Saturday, and here we are Tuesday about to play in the Champions League, our first game in the Champions League, and it feels so strange. I mean, what, only 2-3 days rest for the team, and they're already playing. But we're excited. I think a lot of fans are excited to see Arsenal play in the Champions League. For me, the my favorite competition, it has to be the Champions League, and it's simple. Once again, it's another important must-win game. It's a must-win game for Arsenal against Atletico Bilbao. Now we're going to get into it. But look, in terms of the Champions League, Arsenal got quite a difficult run in the Champions League. I think for us to go through, or for us to be almost guaranteed to go through, we probably have to win of the 6 games at least. Sorry, out of the 8 games, at least 2. I think Arsenal need to win at least 6 out of the 8 games, and then I would say I think they're quite comfortable in going through. And the great thing is there's a lot of winnable games for Arsenal. So many games in that out of the 8 games that Arsenal really should win, and this is of course one of them. We're coming off a game against Nottingham Forest where Arsenal really just dominated Nottingham Forest, and I'm hoping to see the momentum carry on from that Forest game to the Champions League game against Atletico Bilbao. Sorry. In terms of the Champions League, last year we did quite well. I think we finished maybe top 3 or top 4 in the Champions League. We did really well, and of course we're hoping to be replicated this year. For me, I am a fan of the league, the new format. I'm a fan of it. I think when we came to group stages, as soon as you saw the 2 top teams, you already knew it was over. Maybe one here and there you sometimes get a team that drops into the Europa League, but usually there's always 2 good teams, and usually they always go through. But I am a fan of this new league format. I mean, last season we saw so many teams at the brink of getting relegated. You saw Real Madrid, you saw PSG, and these teams are usually teams that always walk through the group stages. So for me, I am a big fan of the league phase. I know not everyone is, but for me, I really do like it. The thing about this game, look, we have already played Atletico Bilbao this season. I remember we played them in the preseason and we won. And it gives an Arsenal an advantage that we should already know. The team and the manager and the players should already know what they should expect from Atletico Bilbao. And pretty much what I recall from that game against Bilbao, Arsenal pretty much dominated that game from start to end. Bilbao didn't give much threat. They had a few moments, but apart from that, I would say in terms of preseason, that was probably Arsenal's most dominating performance playing against Bilbao at the Emirates. I mean, I think we scored back-to-back goals so quickly, and pretty much the game was over. So for me, look, I'm simply expecting Arsenal to get the 3 points and move on. I don't want to be seeing Arsenal go life and death so early in the Champions League. I know under Arteta, especially under his early tenure for Arsenal, we didn't have a good record at the playing in European competitions, especially where we just had such a poor record. But over the last 2 seasons, it really has improved. Especially last season, we saw a big improvement. But we beat a PSV 7-1 or something away. The game was over in the first leg, and with the squad getting better, I'm expecting Arsenal to get a comfortable win against Bilbao. Another solid performance, build on from the momentum that we have already built, and at least score a few goals. Bilbao, in terms of the league, I think they're sitting right now 3rd, so they have a similar record to us. They have 3 wins and 1 loss, so yeah, very similar record to us. But the big thing about this game is the fact that they are missing one of the key players, which is Nico Williams. Now, Nico Williams has been talked about for the last 2 years in terms of moving, but of course he has committed his future at Bilbao, and him not playing is a big boost for Arsenal because he's a very dangerous player. I know he doesn't get all the goals and assists, but when you watch him play, he's a dangerous player, a top player, and that's just one less threat for Arsenal to worry about. So I'm expecting Arsenal to go to Spain and dominate from start to end and get the win. With the lineup, this is a main thing this year. It's going to be very different in terms of Arsenal because Arsenal have a big squad this year. Last year, we were just having to rotate between the same players over and over, and until the point where some of these players were falling down one by one, they were just breaking. But this year, Arsenal got a big team, and Arsenal and Arteta, they must manage the team. They must manage the squad. There's a lot of games coming this week. Arsenal have, within a span of 7 days, Arsenal are playing. They also already played Nottingham Forest. They're going to play Bilbao, and they're going to play Man City. That is a lot of games. 3 games in a week's time, and with such a big team, Arsenal and Arteta, especially Arteta, he needs to manage the team. He needs to give all the players enough rest and at the same time keep the squad refreshed. But in terms of my lineup, this is what I will go with. So it's somewhere up on the screen. But yeah, I think the big difference for me is rotation. That is very key. I also need to rotate in this game because I think I'm not too sure. Do Arsenal play the Carabao Cup? Maybe I'm not sure. I think maybe that's after Man City. But look, this is my lineup on the screen somewhere here, and you can see the big difference in terms of my lineup is that backline. It's a completely new backline, a backline that's not played before. Of course, we are seeing I'm expecting Hincapié to start. I was very surprised he didn't even get a single minute against Forest, but I expect him to start. We got really he should be starting ahead of Gabriel because, to be honest, Gabriel had a massive injury come near the end of the last season, and we need to manage his minutes. So I think Hincapié is good enough to replace Gabriel because it's not like we're playing, like, no disrespect to Bilbao, but we're not playing at Bayern Munich or Barcelona. Like, this is a team where Hincapié can come in and adjust, get some match sharpness. So for me, I would start Hincapié. I would also start Skelly. The reason why Skelly starts is, for me, Califero has been playing a lot of games, and he's another player where I also need to manage his minutes. He's played for Italy during the international break, and he's played every single game for Arsenal this season, and he of course has had some injury problems last season. So hopefully Arsenal just manage him, not use him when he's not needed. Like, we don't really need to play him. We got Skelly, and Skelly is just as good. So for me, I'd put Lewis Skelly, and I think Lewis Skelly, he's played a lot of minutes, so I'm sure he can start this game as well. So for me, I would bring on Hincapié, Skelly, and then Timber. Of course, Timber we have to play because Ben White, we're not sure what's going on with him. I know he was on the bench in the last game, but he didn't come on. And then Mosquera, he's on some form right now. Let's carry on playing him. Midfield, I'm expecting Declan Rice to play. 100%, I think he will start this game. He didn't play on the weekend, and I expect it was because he was vested for this fixture. So I do expect him to start this game. I think Zubimendi also deserves a rest. He's played so many games, not just for Arsenal, for Spain as well. I think he's played every single game for Arsenal, and I think he's probably played every single game as well for Spain. So he also needs a rest, and especially because we got Manchester City coming up, and he definitely needs to play against Manchester City. And Declan Rice is good enough to play as a sole six. He's done that last season. So yeah, for me, get Zubimendi some rest and start Declan Rice. Mikel Merino and Wanyeri also start for me. I think both of them played really good last game, and they haven't played that many games. So for me, I think they're refreshed. So I have no issue starting them. Attack speaks for itself. We can't really rotate on the attack because, yeah, I mean, our backup right now in terms of the attack, we don't have many. For me, I'm starting Eze. No, I don't know what, like, there's no argument why Eze shouldn't start this game. But just because Martinelli and Trossard right now, let's be honest, they're not performing the best right now, and Eze is just an upgrade. He just elevates our attack so much, and he will be his UCL debut, so he needs to play for me. He was so good against Nottingham Forest. You saw it was so refreshing to see a left winger that can actually beat his man. He's not even that fast, and he's just so smart. So for me, he is such a maverick player, such a smart, intelligent player. So for me, Eze starts as well, and he will also help with the creativity. If Wanyeri is not having the best game, he can always come into the center of the pitch and create. So for me, Eze has to start. Madueke, come on, there's nothing more to say. He has to start. Our only fit right winger. Not only because he's only fit right winger, he's been performing really well. He's on form. And it will also be his first Champions League game. So I expect him to start. Brilliant performance against Nottingham Forest. And yeah, I think he just needs to carry on playing, and we'll see him improve game by game. But overall, look, I expect Arsenal to get the 3 points. No excuse. I expect to see a comfortable performance. It's going to be a hostile ground. Bilbao is very hostile. The Spanish fans always turn up. So Arsenal cannot lose any focus or make any stupid mistakes. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see a different team almost line up. We have such a big squad. It's so interesting to see how we set up so many different combinations. So yeah, hopefully Arteta does rotate, because to be honest, we got some big games, tough games coming up. So let's see some rotation. I mean, that's the reason why we got such a big team. There's no reason to see Gabriel play. There's no reason to see Zubimendi play. Like, we have backups that are good enough to start and rival them. So yeah, but yeah, that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think we should rotate, or do you think I'm rotating too much? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.